is the founder of the Muslim Democratic Club of New York City. She's born and raised in Brooklyn, and she's here tonight because she's one of the main organizers of the Women's March on Washington, D.C. on Saturday. Please welcome Faiza Ali.
Wow. If the resistance looks anything like what's before me right now, I think New York City, we're going to be all right. Assalamu alaikum, peace and blessings. It's really an honor to be here with you all this evening. Standing before you is a 5'2.5" brown woman, inspired by my Islam to fight injustice, motivated by the legacy of civil rights heroes who showed us that radical change is possible, and driven by the values of a city that raised me to be bold, to have grit, and to be resilient. Like millions of Americans, I stayed up on election night and watched the results come in, sitting on my couch in utter disbelief and horror. For 18 months, Donald Trump used his campaign to wage a war on immigrants, blacks, the LGBTQ community, the disabled, Muslims, and women. Trump called for a ban on Muslims entering the country, surveillance and closure of mosques, and proposed a Muslim registry. This is not normal. On November 9th, Muslim kids and families across the country woke up to a president-elect who, while on the campaign trail, said, quote, "Islam hates us." This is not normal. You know, it's really unsettling. Trump campaigned for an America that had no place for me and my community. And here we are on the eve of his inauguration. Not only are Muslim Americans fearful of losing their freedoms and our basic rights, but we're fearful for our physical safety. The 2016 election was one of the worst examples of mainstreaming Islamophobia, white supremacy, and hate speech. This is not normal. You know, each hour and every minute that we're getting closer to January 20th, for me, the struggle comes into greater focus, and the role that each and every one of us have to play becomes clear. Like the speakers before me said, we have to be ready to fight. We have to stand united. We must refuse to normalize bigotry and hate, which has been the incoming administration's hallmark and rise to power. We must be ready to reject Trump's fascist agenda and resist every appointment, every policy, every single proposal that institutionalizes Islamophobia or is a threat to our values. We need to be intentional. Now, this is the organizer in me. We need to be intentional about engaging our community and building community. Organizing is about building radical relationships that are grounded in love and justice. And power rests in those relationships. So if we want to build a resistance, we have to go to the basics of organizing. I'll end with this. Sisters and brothers, we are stronger when we show up for each other. So whether it's a Muslim registry or ban, mass deportation of undocumented communities, threats to Black lives, or attacks on our healthcare and Planned Parenthood, we have to stand up and we have to fight back together. That's why this Saturday, day one of Trump's presidency, I'm joining hundreds and thousands of Americans to march for the Women's March on Washington. We're here to say that we are here, we are watching, and we will fight every step of the way. Thank you so much for this, New York City. We're ready to stand with you. I hope that you are also ready to stand with me and my people. Thank you. See you at the march. Hi.
States of America, but it is our responsibility to defend our common values as Americans. So, to lead us now in taking our oath, the same oath that he is taking, are community activists Rob Nanas, Farah Bala, and Tyler Thomas.
Raise your right hands. Raise them.
Raise them, raise them, raise them!
And repeat after us. I do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute my role as an American and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States.
Share your oath and follow taketheoath.us online to take action. Our next speaker will talk about the urgent fight we must wage and win, the fight to protect health care for tens of millions of Americans. Please welcome Executive Director of District 37, Henry Garrido.
How you doing? You know, I'm from a union. In our union, we have a chant. And it goes a little like this. Who's got the power? We got the power. What kind of power? People power. Say it with me. Who's got the power? We got the power. Who's got the power? We got the power. What kind of power? People power. What kind of power? People power. You know, last week, U.S. Congress took a very irresponsible step. They moved to do away with the ACA, or as is known as Obamacare, without alternative. They moved to eliminate the pre-existing conditions that is now currently under the law. They moved to do away with coverage with children and dependents up to the age of 26, to eliminate subsidies for seniors, and to reduce the cost of health care overall. You know, about 5 years ago, my own grandmother was diagnosed with a rare form of cancer, and she could not get the health care she needed in Virginia. She had to move to Europe to other siblings in order to get that care. And for the last years of her lives, my children could not see my grandmother for the last years because she could not afford health care in Virginia. Are we going to allow this man to take away our health care? Are we going to allow this man to take the health care of 30 million people without a plan? Are we going to allow this man to dismantle everything that we've worked for? So who's got the power? Who's got the power? What kind of power? What kind of power? And today, in this country, we spend more money than any industrialized nation for healthcare. This is a matter of life and death. We would not allow this to happen without a fight, and I pledge to you that until my dying breath, I would not allow this man to do what happened to my grandmother. So say it with me. Who's got the power? Who's got the power? What kind of power? What kind of power? Brothers and sisters, I have the proud pleasure also introducing the next speaker. I'm proud to introduce the First Lady of the City of New York, who has led a fight, a national effort to address mental health, and will constantly be fighting to ensure that no one loses their health care in this era. Please help me welcome the First Lady, Shirley McRae. Give it up for her.
showing the world what democracy looks like. Now, I was in Washington, D.C. this week talking to mayors and senators about mental health reform, mayors and senators from blue states and red states, and talking to them about how much progress we're just beginning to make with mental health, with Thrive NYC. And that is all because of the parity and equity we get from the Affordable Care Act. You can clap for that. Yeah. 30 million Americans are on the verge of losing health care, vital health care, which includes our family members who suffer from mental illness and substance misuse. We're in the middle of an opioid epidemic. People, we can't let this happen. No. So I say, don't take away our ACA. 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 And you know the number to call. What is it? 202-225-21. Very good, very good. And now, it is my pleasure to introduce a leader who embodies always NYC, siempre. She is a proud daughter of Puerto Rico, a proud supporter of working families, union families, immigrant families, all families. She's a badass feminist. And she is the first Latina speaker of our New York City Council. Welcome, Melissa Martin DeVerito.
Thank you so much, Sherlane. Buenas noches, Nueva York! I stand here as a proud member of the resistance. Are you with me? We're standing here today in Donald Trump's backyard to send one clear and loud message to the incoming administration. We will stand unidos, united, against your agenda of fear and hate. Just look around you. New York, we represent the very best of our country. We exemplify that diversity is what makes this nation great, not weak. We embody the principles of equality and inclusivity because that is who we are. And that's exactly why we will do everything in our power to defend this city and its ideals. You have my word. We're gonna stand up and fight back. Are you with me? From protecting women's reproductive rights to building more trust between our communities and the police, to ensuring immigrants continue to call New York City home, we will not stay silent. Are we gonna stand up and fight back? So let me be clear, because I want Washington, D.C. to hear me. We will not allow our immigrant communities to return into the shadows, because just today we saw a glimpse of what this administration is planning to do. Trillions in budget cuts, dismantling the ACA, and building a wall. We're gonna build a wall, and that's the wall of resistance. No permitiremos que los inmigrantes en esta ciudad vivan en las sombras. Estamos unidos, pa'lante, siempre pa'lante.
Hi, I'm Julianne Moore. In 1951, my mother immigrated to this country from Scotland. I am first generation. Unless you are Native American, your family is also from somewhere else. We are a nation of immigrants. Every generational wave of new immigrants has faced discrimination. Tonight, we stand united with all immigrants. It is my honor to introduce a longtime resident of New York who came to the U.S. from Mexico when he was 7 years old and has been a fierce advocate for programs that President-elect is threatening to take away. He is a member of Make the Road New York that builds the power of Latino and working class communities to achieve dignity and justice through organizing, policy innovation, transformative education, and survival services. Please welcome Martine Batalla.
How are we doing tonight? All right, good evening. How you doing? It's cool, right? All right, my name is Martine Batalla. I'm a member leader of Make the Road New York. I'm also a proud member of the LGBT community. I came to the US at the age of 7, and since then I was undocumented. Living in this country has not been easy for me. In high school, it was really challenging. Around graduation, I had no social security, which meant I couldn't work. I couldn't have an education. I was not able to get financial aid or apply for scholarships. I was really doubtful about my future when I first heard about DACA. DACA is the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals. At first, I was doubtful. What can DACA do for me? Like, it's the first thing that something ever happened like this. I was confused, and I didn't know what was gonna happen. I decided to apply, and honestly, from my point, it changed my life. DACA helped me get opportunities that's undocumented were not available to me. I have a higher paid job. I'm currently able to help my parents. I'm also independent, and I live on my own. Right now, I'm studying to be a registered nurse, and without DACA, thank you. Right now, I'm studying to be a registered nurse, and without DACA, this would not be possible. This is why it's so important that we need to do everything in our hands to defend this program. I'm also here because my parents, they are the original dreamers. They left everything behind, their parents, their family, for me and my brothers to have a better future. So they are the original dreamers. They left everything behind so I could have a better life, something that they didn't have. So I'm thankful that they brought me here, because if it wasn't for them, I would not be here. As a member of the LGBT community, and Latino, Mexicano, yeah, Latinos Unidos. Yeah, that's right. Ooh, yeah, Mexico no cerrado, yeah. As a member of the LGBT community, navigating life as a documented and gay has not been easy. But as a family, it made us stronger. To President-elect Donald Trump, to General John Kelly, the next Secretary of Homeland Security, I say that they should preserve DACA. It works, and I'm a living proof of that. Yeah. We heard rumors that he might take DACA away as soon as tomorrow. What are we gonna do about it? We're gonna stand up and fight, exactly. We're gonna stand up and fight. We will fight, whether it's in the streets or court, or whatever we have to do to protect our rights. We will make sure that every member of the community get the respect and dignity that they deserve as undocumented Americans. We will fight against any politician and system that will mess with us. So any politician that wants to end DACA, I say that the economic security and safety of myself and millions of DACA families depend on keeping DACA the way it is. And I want to thank everyone for listening to me and being here ready to fight for me. We all need to be together and fight like never. I just have one thing. I'm gonna say this chant, and I want you to repeat with me. Up, up with education, down, down with deportation. Up, up with deportation, down with deportation. Up, up with education, down, down with deportation. Up, up with education, down, down with deportation. Thank you.
Into the streets after the rally. March for
has played a critical role in advancing the lives of American people. And tonight, that gives me hope. After all, it was everyday people who came together to fight injustices on the job site to win the right to have a union and to propel the growth of the middle class and expand prosperity. In big cities and small towns across the country, the labor movement is the reason that we have an 8-hour workday. It's the reason why we have workers' protections. It's why workers got health benefits and why injured workers get aid. I am a proud union member and have been for 52 years. And today I am proud to see that union members are fighting to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour for all workers. But today, the right to organize, which is at the heart of the labor movement's ability to help the lives of so many Americans, is under threat. But if we all stick together like we are right now, if we fight for justice and dignity, I do believe we will find paths to victory over the next 4 years. Please, dear God. And right now, I am very pleased to introduce to you an incredible union leader. He's an executive vice president of the 1.3 million member United Food and Commercial Workers International Union. He is vice president of the National AFL-CIO and currently serves as a vice president of New York State AFL-CIO. Stuart Applebaum.
Friends, sisters, and brothers, the president may change tomorrow, but our values will not. All working women and men, all people deserve to be treated with dignity, justice, and respect, regardless of who is president. And we will fight any attempts to deny them. Too many immigrant workers, women, white workers, people of color feel trapped in an economy that fails them and only seems to reward those at the very top. We must bring working people together across their differences. We must help them understand their common interests. And we must stand ready to fight and organize as a unified 21st century labor movement, progressive movement, because working people desperately need strong unions. You cannot say that you want to help working people and then turn around and attack unions. And we are here today to say that we won't stand idly by and let the Trump administration go after workers and their unions. Together, we must transform our country from within and bring all communities, including the labor movement, into a larger progressive movement. A movement that lifts up all working people. A larger progressive movement that takes the energy and learns the lessons from the Occupy movement and Black Lives Matter and the Bernie Sanders campaign and the Fight for 15 progressive movement that is inclusive and diverse. Together, we must build alliances and coalitions that can stand together for our values. Alliances that can stand up against all forms of bigotry and economic exploitation in all areas of society where our lives and the lives of other vulnerable communities are threatened. Sisters and brothers, we must do this together because justice is indivisible. You cannot be for justice for some and not for justice for all. Together, brothers and sisters, we will never stop fighting for what we know is right. Thank you.
The Trump regime is illegitimate. It's illegitimate because it's not. New York! The greatest city in the world. That's you. Man, I need you. I need it tonight. Did you need this? Man, I needed to be with my brothers and sisters here to know that there's hope in the world and that we have one another, right? We have each other. You heard of Standing Rock, right? Right, we came together there to protect something precious. From all over the United States, all walks of life, American Native people, black people, white people, people of color from all over, gay, lesbian people, people from everywhere, because we came together to protect something precious. Now we're coming here together tonight in this amazing city of New York to protect something precious to us, and that's each other. We're not protesters, we're people protectors. Martin Luther King, brother Martin Luther King, I love you. I know you're here with us tonight. Thank you for your wisdom and your leadership and showing us the peaceful way to move through the oppression that we're facing today. We think we have it bad today. It's nothing. They had it so much worse than we did, and they maintained through love and dignity and determination, and that's us today. Now he knew nothing could happen without love. He knew that the only thing that could drive back the darkness was the light. And we have a wonderful opportunity today to make it clear who we are as Americans and who the Democratic Party is. And what we were always meant to be as a Democratic Party. Somehow we lost our way somewhere along the way. Dr. Martin Luther King knew that without love, not a damn thing worth a damn could happen. And that's why we're destined to win this battle. Whether it's love for our Muslim brothers and sisters, the LGBTQ community, our workers, we gotta love our workers. They're struggling out there. Trump beat us on our own message. We love our workers in America. We stand up for them. We are the middle class. And we're gonna bring all of these different groups together under one banner, and that's a banner of love and decency in America. So today, we move forward, not in protesting Trump, but in protecting our people, protecting our values, and recreating the Democratic Party as a party that's responsive to the people, to the needs of the people, and not to the whims of Wall Street. Neoliberalism is dead. Progressivism is alive and well, and we're it. We're the people protectors, and this is heart work. That's the only way, folks. We need to protect our hearts. We need to lead from our hearts. We need to strengthen our hearts. Today marks the first day of the first 100 days of the resistance. Peaceful, loving resistance. Peaceful, loving resistance. Peaceful, loving resistance. We abhor violence. We reject it. If you want that, then get out. We are peaceful, and we'll only win through peace. Now, I'm a climate change activist. And so it's my great honor tonight to bring up a wonderful leader who's already been doing all of the action, already resisting. She is the ED of the amazing Greenpeace. And her name is Annie Leonard. I want you to give her a nice, heartfelt round of applause. Annie Leonard.
I woke up this morning in Washington, D.C. and walked to the train station there, and they cleared out the streets, and there was a silence and a sadness descending on that town. And so when I got out at the train station in New York and I saw a joyful resistance filling the streets, it felt so good to be back in New York. Yes. You know, New Yorkers know how to resist, and New Yorkers understand climate change. And you are living through it, and you are standing up together for solutions, and you are not alone. All around the world, cities and businesses and people are standing up for climate change because we know that it is real and it is the greatest threat humanity has ever faced. Yes, and we know that what climate change needs is leaders who are bold and courageous and smart and can understand bar graphs. And instead, we got Donald Trump. Donald Trump thinks that climate change is a hoax. And Donald Trump's nominee for the Environmental Protection Agency, Scott Pruitt, he's skeptical about climate change. He's a hoax. And Donald Trump's nominee for the Secretary of State is Rex Tillerson, the CEO of Exxon. Rex Tillerson admits that climate change is real, but he says he doesn't know what's causing it. Dude, it's not that hard. Exxon is causing it. It's not that hard. And so if climate denialism is going to be the default position of the new Trump administration, then resistance is going to be the default position of the people in this country. Because an election does not change the science, and an election does not change the momentum and the progress towards climate solutions that's happening all around this world, and Trump cannot put the brakes on that. So I want you to join me in sending a message to Mr. Trump that we will resist. Mr. Trump, if you try to open the Arctic for oil drilling, we will resist. When you try to approve pipelines through indigenous lands, we will resist. When you give the frackers a pass, we will resist. When you give the keys to our government to the biggest polluters in this land, we will resist. Now, there are lots of kinds of resistance. There is angry resistance and joyful resistance. There's loud resistance and silent resistance. There's legal resistance and illegal resistance. And I promise you, Mr. Trump, you will see them all. But the one thing in common
see. I wish you could see how far this crowd goes back. And it is cold out here tonight, but I am so warmed by your passion. Thank you for being here. There was a night 5 years ago when I was with my wife and our 3 kids and our best friends, and we were waiting for the subway, and all of a sudden there started to be people talking and shouting, and people who didn't know each other were saying, hey, same-sex marriage, it just passed, it passed. And it was something that we had been fighting for a long time, and we knew it was about to come, but that moment was so sweet. And then the train came, and we got on the train, and all those people in the car didn't know, and we told them, and people were, you know how that happens in New York sometimes, how everybody's on the same page, and everybody's excited, and you know what everybody else is thinking. And that victory in New York, it wasn't just a victory for lesbian and gay couples, it was a victory for all people who are committed to a fairer and more equal world. Now, there are those today who are working to divide us, but they know they can only win when we are focused on fighting each other. And that's why we're here tonight. We're here to stand up and say loudly and clearly, we are not going back. You are not turning us around. We are here, we are queer, and we have no fear. And to those of you in the crowd who are not queer, who are Muslim, who are African American, who are Latino, who are women, who are straight white males, we want to say to you, the LGBT community has got your back. And we know that you have got ours, and we love you for it. Because none of us are willing to go back to a time when we decided a person's worth based on their gender, on their skin color, on their religion, on their country of origin, on their sexual identity. We will not go back to a time when our nation did not recognize the marriage of brave Americans Edie Windsor and Taya Spire. We will not go back to a time when hate and discrimination were a constant and sanctioned presence in the lives of millions of Americans. We stand here tonight just a few short miles from the Stonewall Inn. And the memory of what happened there in 1968, the struggle for liberation it sparked, is a reminder of where we've been and where we will never return to, no matter who is president. That night after marriage passed in New York, and I called my mom to talk to her about it and to tell her where we were when we heard the news, she listened to me. My mother was born in 1930, and she said, that's what it was like in 1945 when victory was declared. That's what it felt like. Something you've been working for so long and you feared would never happen. And then all of a sudden, one day it's there. And the way I felt that night is the way I feel when I look at this crowd tonight, and the way I'm gonna feel on Saturday at that march. I feel hopeful for the future. Yes, we've had a setback. It's a big setback. It's a setback like we've not seen in a long time. But we can see it as a setback, or we can see it as a challenge. And where there is a challenge, there is an opportunity. An opportunity to prove love, equality, and unity cannot beat. Love, equality, and unity can beat hatred and discrimination. Hillary Clinton didn't get everything right, but she said, we are stronger together, and boy, was she right about that. I know we can win if we say together,
We are not going back. Say it with me. We are not going back. We are not going back. We are not going back. And now, it is my privilege to introduce a true fighter for our working families, the President and CEO of the NAACP, Cornell William Brooks.
Good evening. It is great to be in the greatest city in the world at the beginning of one of the greatest movements in the world, here in New York City. I'm here as a guest of Martin Luther King's Union 1199 and George Gresham. If you're here supporting labor, I want you to put your hands together loud, long, and resoundingly for God's people who work day in and day out. Not too far from here is a monument to a man, a brand, emblazoned with a single word, Trump. And I'm reminded that we are here, standing metaphorically, figuratively, literally, on a faded piece of parchment that begins with 3 words. We the people. And we're here representing the beauty and the diversity of our nation. Gay and straight, working men and women, environmentalists, activists, civil rights folks. We are here representing the diversity of our nation. And we are resolved. We're not going back. We understand that the election of a president does not represent the de-election of the citizenry. We the people are standing strong. We the people are standing with courage. We the people are standing with determination. We the people are standing together, standing united, standing to resist. We've lived through a campaign in which we have heard a presidential candidate brag about grabbing a woman's genitalia. And we have men and women who are afraid that what was described as locker room talk will become administrative policy. But we are yet saying that we will stand with the majority of Americans, that is women. We will stand against misogyny. We will stand against hate. We will stand against bigotry. We will stand against bias. We will stand up and be strong together. We have seen in the course of this campaign racism routinized, anti-Semitism normalized, xenophobia de-exceptionalized, and misogyny mainstream. But we yet say our love is stronger than hate. Our commitment to this country is greater than anything that can divide us. We will resist day in and day out until victory is won. We've seen in the course of this campaign the right to vote suppressed day in and day out. But may I remind you that the ballot box is not colored red, white, and blue, but literally colored with the blood, sweat, and tears of our people. And we understand that in the constellation of our civil rights, in the firmament of our freedoms, the right to vote shines like the North Star, and we will not allow that light to dim. We will not allow that light to darken. We will not allow that light to go out. We will stand and fight for the right to vote. We, the people, reserve the right to say to Secretary of Labor, to say to management, to say to this administration, if you try to drag down wages, if you imperil the lives of working men and women, we reserve the right to say to you, you are fired. And if by chance you're tempted amidst the cacophony of disunity and dissension in this nation, if by chance you're tempted to be depressed by the silence of cynicism, may I remind you of a little hymn sung by millions of members of the NAACP with the words being these: lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies, let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us, facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on, let us march on, let us march on, let us march on till victory is won.
How you doing, New York? Yes, it's Rosie Perez, aka RP, aka Brooklyn's own. All right, I just want to say it's cold as hell out here, and I want to thank you for staying. And I want to thank everybody way down Central Park West, and everybody way down Broadway, and way down 7th. There are thousands and thousands of people here tonight, and we appreciate it. All right, I want to acknowledge some of our elected officials that showed up tonight. Public advocate who used to be Mount Councilwoman in Brooklyn, Miss Letitia James, I call her Tish. The first Puerto Rican Council Speaker, Melissa Mark Viverito. Congress members, Jerry Nadler, love that guy, Adriana Espaillat, Senator Brad Hoylman, Assembly members Gottfried and De La Rosa, and Council members Espinal and Rodriguez. We want to thank you because you showed up for us tonight. And please stick around because, oh my God, wait till y'all see who's gonna close the night. She's gonna be on fire. All right, and you know, everybody, thanks for hitting us on social media. We are trending in the world. All right, I want to introduce this woman. I have to put, you know, I'm old now. Okay. I love y'all too, New York. All right. Maya Wiley is a nationally renowned expert on racial justice. She has litigated, lobbied the U.S. Congress, and developed programs to transform structural racism in the United States and in South Africa. Ms. Wiley is currently the Senior Vice President for Social Justice at the New School, as well as the chair of the New York City Civilian Complaint Review Board. Oh, she's dope. All right. The independent oversight agency for the city's police department. Please join me in welcome her as she speaks out about civil rights and criminal justice, Ms. Maya Wiley. All right, you fired up? Ready to go? Fired up? We're fired up? Mayor de Blasio asked us a question tonight. He asked, what do we stand for? And everyone's right. So we stand for what? Everyone's rights. When we started this process the day after the election, there were too many girls in this country who woke up and said, America is not a safe space. There were too many black people who woke up in this country and said, America is not a just place. There were too many immigrants who woke up and said, America is not being acknowledged
acknowledged as my place. There were too many people who woke up and said, my love is not being acknowledged as love. But one of the things that we know is that we stand for the fact that this is one country and it is our country, all of ours, no matter who we are, where we live, who we love, and what we look like. But now we have to acknowledge something, right? And I'm going to quote one of my favorite authors, James Baldwin. Now, James Baldwin said something that is particularly true today. He said that ignorance, allied with power, is a ferocious enemy of justice. So we stand here tonight because the truth is we are looking at a ferocious enemy to the safety of people in their communities if they demand that we turn back on our reform of stop and frisk. No, we won't. And we will do that because when Mayor de Blasio asked what we stand for and Mark Ruffalo said, who do we stand with? We also stand with each other. And when we stand with each other, we stand with people in Ferguson and Detroit, as well as Brooklyn and Staten Island. We stand with people whether they are just folks trying to get a job and get to work and get that job even if they have been arrested, and to be safe when they walk the streets of their neighborhood. And we stand with police officers as well. We will not let policies get in the way of our relationship with our police officers because we have to have safety. All of us have to be safe. Our police officers are us, and we stand with our police officers. But if you tell us the progress we have made in ensuring that we have safe and fair policing, because ignorance thinks that when you walk down the street of a black community you get shot, because you don't know what happens in black community, then we are going to stand with you and say, if in order to keep us safe, we must have the reforms we fought for. And what we must also have is the ability of people to get jobs and not spend 30 years in the jails that we have constructed, because we tell people to throw the book at every little charge, whether they did something serious or not. These are the fights that we have right now. We stand for justice. We stand for each other. We stand for justice. We stand for each other. We stand for justice. We stand for each other. We will not go back. We will be safe. Our communities will be safe. And we will do that because we stand together.
Between 20,000 and 25,000 New Yorkers here tonight. That is incredible! This is so exciting. I feel so honored to be here. You know, we've been talking about this movement starting tomorrow. This movement already started. This movement started a long time ago and it's just gaining steam. Let's look at Standing Rock. How amazing was that movement? Is that movement? I want to talk about Standing Rock for just a quick second, because what they were able to accomplish is what we need to learn from and what we need to apply to what's happening here tonight, what's going to happen tomorrow, what's going to happen in DC, and what's going to happen in the next 4 years. The narrative surrounding us against them does not ever work. Violence does not work. Aggression does not work. Anger can be transmuted into fuel so that we can show up with passion, but that passion has to be grounded and rooted in compassion and love and prayer. Love is not a word to be forgotten in this movement. Love is not a word to be undermined. And the people of Standing Rock showed us that you can show up on the front line with your hands behind your back and your heart forward, with prayer